Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Believe in Tennessee Football. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kervison, joined with Reed Bacon. Have a great one for you. We're talking basketball, what happened in the SEC Tournament, and Selection Sunday, where we ended up, and what are our chances moving forward. Before we get into that, if you guys are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. In those comments, please tell us, what would you like to see out of spring practice from our football team? We are going in a couple weeks. Can't wait. It's going to be so exciting, so fun. And we want to hear what you guys would be looking for if you got a chance to go to practice and be able to answer those questions for you. So please leave it in the comments. Also, reach out to us on social media. DM us, comment under any of our posts. Let us know what's going on. And follow us at Believe in Tennessee for our main account, at rbacon26 for Reed, at Kyler Kervison for myself on all social medias. We have merch right now. How we doing, bud? T-shirts in orange and in white. So go ahead and check those out. The link is below. So on this pod, talking basketball, getting into the Missouri loss, what happened on that, selections, and how far in this can we go as a 4 seed? What is it going to look like versus Duke? Can we even get through the first part? And what does this team feel like from just an overall season recap? So, great podcast. Let's jump on into it.
The game. Snap. The kick is in the air, and the kick this time is no, sir-ree. No, sir-ree. Final score, Tennessee 20, Florida 17. Pandemonium reigns.
Loads up, fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee. Tennessee wins! Caught it by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch in the end zone on the Hail Mary.
Down at the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. What did he do? All he did was score. Joey Pence, touchdown on play number 1.
All right, so before we jump into the podcast, got to shout out our number one sponsor, betonline.ag. It is the place to go for betting. It is your number one source for betting. They have all the odds, all the team totals, all the parlays that you could ever want, and they cover every sport. You got NFL, you got NBA, you got tennis, you got golf, you got baseball, you got everything you could think of. It is the place to go if you're going to bet on anything and make anything exciting. So for first-time signups, go over to betonline.ag, and for a 50% welcome bonus, use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, at checkout and receive that 50% welcome bonus. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, welcome in, everybody. Have a we'll see podcast today. I say that not to get on Reed's nerves, but we're going to be talking basketball mainly. Have some announcements to go over, which is fun. But first, before we get into any of that, Reed, how we doing, bud?
Kyler, it's good to see you. It's good to talk with you. I'm doing a little bit better. I had the battles starting. So we're recording Monday. We did not record last night because of March Madness bracket kind of being talked about late, but your boy was also down for the count. So, so Megan and I, the new lady friend, it was actually her birthday weekend. So we had dinner on Friday night. Everything's great. Then Saturday we hang out, go to a Dopo, her favorite spot. We have a great night.
Is that still a favorite spot?
Well, that's a good question, Kyle. That is a good question. So anyways, we hang out. She comes over after we went to Dopo, walked downtown for a while, got a drink, played some games, and then come back to my house. She give her presents. We just kind of hung out. Well, we're supposed to be going to church together the next day, and my parents were going to come with us, and we're going to go to Gourmet Market. And I get a text that says, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not feeling well. I woke up in the middle of the night and had some, had some issues." And she goes, "How do you feel?" And I said, I don't feel great. Like my stomach kind of bothers me. I feel a little weird. But Kyler, sometimes I wake up like that and it goes away, like for whatever reason. So I didn't think much of it. So I woke up and I went to church. And as the day goes on, I'm just like not feeling great. And here's funny. This is a little funny story. So after church, I'm like, I'm going to pick up some food before I go home, but I just want something light, and I love smoothie bowls. So I go and stop by Everbowl to get a smoothie bowl. And I walk in, and the place is dead. It's literally the two workers and no one else in there. It's kind of a smaller place. And I am having to absolutely blow it up. I mean, it's one of those, bro, where you feel it coming and you're like, I got to get where I'm going so I don't dookie in my britches.
Yeah.
And besides not wanting to dookie in my britches, I don't want to dookie in my new car. And so I legitimately walk in. Like I said, there's not one other person. So it's not like I'm walking into a big establishment like a Target where I can just be, no one knows what's going on in my pants. It's not like I'm even walking into a semi-busy restaurant or establishment where there might be 15, 20 other people. No, it's me and the two workers. I walk in, I say, "Hi, how you doing?" Here's the funny thing. One of the workers is a younger kid. He probably looks like he's in high school and this is his first job and he's in the bathroom blowing his nose. And I immediately walk in. I was like, I hope he's not walking in because there's only one toilet in this establishment. I'm going to have to tell him to get out. So needless to say, I go in there and I have a bowel movement. Well, it wasn't a quick one. I was in there for a few minutes. These people clearly know what I'm doing in their bathroom.
Obviously. If you're in there longer than 2 minutes, they know.
Right. And it's not smelling good in there. And I was like, me, I don't think things are very awkward. And I try to be pretty funny and, make things less awkward for people. So I walk out and I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" So now I'm walking out of the bathroom and they're waiting to serve me. I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" They're like, "Good." And they're like, "How are you?" I'm like, "Much better now." And the lady starts cracking up and laughing. So anyways, that was a foreshadowing of the day because I thought maybe, hey, I need just one good bathroom break and I'll be good. No, your boy came home and it just got worse throughout the day and night. I woke up
the only reason I would have loved to do the podcast yesterday is just see you fight through your flu game, just being like, Rick Barnes and the boys just, and, the field goal percentage really went up.
No, bro, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm such a baby when I get sick. I just feel like I'm in besides just feeling bad. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm just like in la la land. Like I feel like I'm just so out of everything, out of touch with reality. Like I was in my bedroom from 1:30 yesterday afternoon until this morning. So I had forgotten what the rest of the world looks like. So this morning I woke up and took a shower and I was like, dude, I just got to go out to the living room just to see something, just to see something different so I don't go stir crazy. But I am feeling much better now. I'm just tired and kind of weak. I really was like, do I want to do the pod? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make myself do it, to at least make me be somewhat active today. So that was my weekend. And poor Megan, she had it worse than I did. And so she's was really down for the count. And it's funny because we love a dopo, but we're like, was it a dopo? Was it the stomach bug was it the stomach bug that's going around? So we don't know, but we're both like, I haven't told her yet, but whether I think it was them or not, anytime that I have been involved in eating something and then I get sick, whether it was that or not, it's kind of like a holdback for me. I'm like, I don't know if I can do that anymore.
Yeah. No, I'm not touching that food. Whatever that specific thing you ate right before you got sick or that restaurant, I'm not going there anymore. I'm out.
Yeah. And it might not even been that, but it was but the thoughts and I'm telling you, bro, being sick is the absolute worst. It is. It's like I said, I'm in la la land. I'm out of it. My whole body feels terrible. You just feel, you literally not you just feel like you're on a deathbed because you just feel so crappy. So,
I always hated that. But I hope the rest of your weekend was okay.
Yeah, it was Friday and Saturday were good.
That's good. I got this new shirt. Love this thing. Funny part about it, I got it in the mail. I got it from one of those vintage places. I got it in the mail. It smelled like about 35 years of smoke.
Yeah,
Was on
for
this.
sure.
Like someone was a chain smoker, but I love it. I like the little emblem. I think it's just classic. It's very cool to me.
Sure, I surely hope you watched it about 6 times.
Yeah, I watched it,
Yeah,
but I had to
yeah,
watch it before I broke it out on the pod.
yeah. No, it looks good. It looks good. No, I like it. What else did you do this weekend? Just watching basketball, hang out, do some stuff around the house.
Watched some basketball, hung out, played some video games. Bought some new golf hats. I bought like a nice like Titleist like big Aussie hat. Protect this pretty face of mine. So
Nah,
that was cool. I like that. But yeah, won 3 in a row on the Corn Ferry Tour and got to the PGA on my video game. So, I'm a pretty big deal.
so you're just now on the PGA Tour. Have you played any events yet?
I played one. I'm in the first event right now.
How we doing?
I think I'm like -8 through like 15.
All right, okay.
I
What
wouldn't say I
difficulty?
put it on a high difficulty, but I'm doing well.
What difficulty is it? That's what I
I
was about
think
to
I
ask.
just put it normal
Normal.
on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I love those golf games. I haven't played one in a while. Well, let's
They're
say
fun.
this before we dive into some stuff. So, a couple things. We have we have talked about it for a couple months now. It's funny to see when the first email started. The first conversations were literally in January. Obviously, we'll explain all this when it happens, but we do have some big news coming that Kyler and I could not be more excited about. So we are
It'd be
fired.
great.
We're
Nice,
fired.
nice expansion. Nice add of reach. Nice
Good
production
team,
value increase.
great
So
team.
all of those things are going into it, so we're very excited.
Very excited. So we'll be making that announcement official probably in the next, I don't know, week. And then another big thing is, and we want to go ahead and say this out, is we will be going to spring practice again. Knock on wood. I say that, but I don't know if you've even asked if you've reached out. And
Yeah, I've reached out to Scott and asked him.
I just don't want it to officially get ruined at some point. He's like, hey, we know why you guys come.
I know. Like you're not allowed anymore. You're media. You're not at VFL. Be like,
Yeah.
sad day, sad day. But yes, we're still going to go to a practice. We are not sure exactly which one yet, but we want to go to a padded practice because who gives a shit about guys in helmets? But like Reed was saying, we need what you guys want to see. We know what we want to see and what we're going to look for, but I would love to hear from fans, hey, I want to see who, is wide receiver 3 for us. I want to see, this specific guy that I remember in recruiting and how he's doing. Love those ideas. Like shoot them to us, whether it be on social media, whether it be in the comment section on YouTube, anywhere. DM us, anything. We want to see them. We want to be able to answer them for you. And actually like make a point to look at those guys or look at those things for the fans.
Yeah, and yeah, so whatever you want us to look for, like you said, get individuals, groups of different positions, whatever the case may be, let us know. I meant to say on past pods that I gave up Twitter again for Lent. So there's times where I'll tweet something out from our account just to keep some stuff going, but it's not like I'm on there. So if you do send us something and I haven't responded to you yet, just give it time. I will. But yeah, flood us in the comments and anything of what you guys want to see. That's our favorite time of year. We love going to spring practice.
Love it.
I would say fall practice is my number one favorite thing we do. Spring practice is 2, and then the season is probably 3 because I love breaking down the games.
Yeah, like when we have game film, it's so nice. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. Well, anyway, so we're going to talk basketball. So, to start with the SEC tournament, I thought the first day was nice. I mean, I thought the first win against Ole Miss was nice. You come out, Triple J's hitting his shot, Santi's hitting his shots. We're playing pretty well. It was a pretty tight game up until half, and then the better team pulled away. And so I was happy to see that, and that made me feel good going in Missouri, and then we go to the Missouri game, and basically two things happen in the Missouri game: is they have Kobe Brown, and we don't. And I love watching that guy play. He's fantastic to play.
Yeah.
I texted a couple of my buddies. I was like, dang, I would love for the Grizzlies to be able to draft him because he would fit in with that team so well. I don't know how early he'll go in the draft, but he's a fantastic basketball player. And then if you go back to the last pod that we did, what did I say? That Triple J and Santi both had to play well.
Yep.
Plus, then we had to have some of our role players play well, and it's like Meshack, played pretty well. Santi played well again, but like Triple J's a senior, man.
He hit some good shots.
No. I'm saying, and then going in the Missouri game, and Triple J's a senior, and I think he ends with like 3 points. You know what I mean? I thought he started out, pretty well, and then he had that. I think it was a tech that they called on him where he held his hand up.
In the guy's face.
Yeah, and it's like, I know that he meant to do a little something there. I don't know if that was warranted of a tech. He did almost get – that Missouri guy was, like, pretty pissed. So he almost, like, shoved him and whatnot. But that game, for me, Kyler, was just like – not only is it because, like, obviously you know how I feel about Rick and his history of what he's done in March and what he's done as a coach. But, like, I don't even think that we have the horses this year to really make a good run. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would agree with you. And going into the SEC tournament, like, morale was low. I was like, there's teams that we can beat, which is great. We need to try and get 2 wins in, which would be good momentum, like, heading in. But it was still just like, I mean, we could lose these. Like, we've been losing games we're not supposed to all year. And it's like, this was when I go back and look, and I'm like, okay, versus Missouri, 44% field goal percentage, 38.5% threes, 78 on free throw. I'm like, where was this? Where was this before? This is all new. This is great. Like, holy crap, our offense is able to do something, is able to click, is able to find shots. Like, that is an awesome thing. But there's still the 40-point game versus Auburn in my head. There's still, like, those games in the past where we're shooting 28% on free throws, and that's what gives me pause. Like, I was watching this Missouri game, like, who is this? Where did this come from? Where has this been? Because we're making our shots. They are falling.
Yeah.
And then something happens to us every single time we have a close game towards the end. I don't know what it is. Just like the littlest stuff, like Meshack, like that foul, like it's like he's not technically, like, really trying to, like, foul the guy. He's just trying to reach to the ball, but then it ends up being a foul. And then it's like we go down and they're man all over us. And then, we try and take like a 3 that's contested. That's not even like a great shot for us. Going underneath screens for them to shoot 3s over top of us. It's just like little tiny stuff that, like, I don't even know if it's just unlucky. I don't know if it's like coaching, technique, whatever. It just always seems that at the end, sphincters get real tight and people start freaking out.
Yeah, and there were 2 really bad whistles for Tennessee. Now, once again, me and my referee talk. We get ones our ways that are bad calls in favor of us, so it works out for us. We did get Missouri had 2 that were very much in favor of them that were in the last 2, 3, 4 minutes of the game. And yeah, when it's a tight ball game and you get down to those last 3 to 4 minutes, I mean, everything is just magnified. And, I don't know if I'm upset about us going underneath that screen. I mean, that dude hits an absolute bomb of a 3. I mean,
yeah,
deep. Yeah. In an ideal world, I would love for us to fight over the screen and to be able to stay in front of him, because I was nervous about fighting over the screen and then you give him the lane to drive. But I was like I said, I was happy with how they played. But when we lost, I was really like, I feel like we gave it our best effort besides Josiah Jordan James' stat line. I'm not saying he didn't give effort, but it just really showed me kind of like this is the max of this team. Like I don't feel like we really have that agenda, or we don't really have that. We just don't have that team to make a deep run this year, like I felt like we've had in the past years, which kind of stinks because all year we've gotten the pub of, this team's unbelievable on defense. This team's this, like they can do this, they can do that. And it's like, I just never saw it offensively. And you got to be able to put the ball in the basket from times. And listen to this, Kyler. So for the Ole Miss Tennessee game, I mean, you got Santi that gives us 15, and Triple J gives us 20. Everyone else is like 9, 4, 5, 8. Okay, that's all you need, against them. But then you come here, and if you think about what I said, just listen to this real quick. Olivier, 11 points. Meshack, 14. Santi, 17. Julian Phillips, 10. Tyree Key, 16. In my opinion, Euros didn't give you anything points-wise, and Adu didn't give us anything point-wise. But still, if you get 11 from Olivier, 14 from Meshack, 10 from Julian Phillips, and 16 from Tyree Key, that's the recipe of what I said that your role players need to step up, except for the big fat goose egg of only 3 points from Josiah Jordan James. If Josiah just gives us 10, 11, 12, that's a different ballgame in my opinion. And so, heading into the tournament, that's what's going to happen. And I think we'll win the first game, and I think we lose to Duke. I think we got a tough draw because Duke is playing some really, really good basketball.
Yeah,
and before we get there, like I said, I'm still reading these stats off. Kobe Brown, 24 points. Then they had that Hodge guy, that number 5, that guard who gave him 26. So those were really the two ones that just killed us. And they had a couple guys with 8 and one with 10. But Missouri loves shooting against us because they shot, daggum 50 or 60% when they played us here. And then in the second half of that game, I think they were shooting over 50% in the second half of the SEC tournament game. So, I don't know if sometimes that's defense, if it's, it's just their day type deal. I don't know, but
I don't know. But like you reading off those numbers, like if you would have told me before the game, hey, these guys are going to have these many points, I would have been like, okay, we're going to win.
I agree.
We're definitely going to win because that was always a concern. Is like defense is fine. We can't score a basket. We can't have guys in multiple guys in double digits was like the hardest thing in the world for us. And you're telling me I got a 17 point, a 16 point, 11, a 10. I'm like, yeah, definitely. Like we're going to crush them. I would have, if you would have told me we were 44% in field goals, 38 on free throws, and friggin' 78 on or 78 on free throws and 38 on 3-point percentage, I would have bet my life we would have won that game because that is outlier stats. They're literally outlier stats from our season. That's not what we look like on offense. So
I agree. No, I think it's a good point. And I look at their field goal percentage, man. They were 52% on field goal. They were right at the same thing as us on threes, 38.5. But their threes they had a couple more timely threes towards the end of the game. And then, I'm happy with our free throws, 11 to 14, 78.6%. 14 turnovers isn't great. 14 isn't bad considering the fact that I think we had like 6 or 7 in the first 2 or 3 minutes. It was a joke, the turnovers that we had at the beginning. But,
I know.
I wanted us to win that game to get a chance just to say, okay, obviously I want to win every game that we play, no matter what the sport is. But, I knew we weren't going to have a super great chance against Bama, but I at least wanted to see us match up again with them because they are the number 1 team in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it stinks because this is a beautiful time of the year, and I'm going to enjoy the tournament. But it's not like it was last year for me or 2 years ago. Well, 2 years ago, that team was wild. It was just a weird team with with Keon Johnson and Jordan Springer and, Josiah Jordan James and Santi as sophomores and East Pond. It was a weird team. I mean, I didn't really expect too much from them, but basically the 2 Admiral and Grant years and then last year, those were the ones where I'm like, I was really excited. And then this year, I'm just like, we just don't have the horses. And this is where I'm not going to go on some Rick Barnes rant and like I did a couple of years ago when I was like, yo, he is what he is. But ultimately, like, it is his responsibility. When I say I don't think we have the horses to make a deep run, it's his responsibility to get us the horses. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it is ultimately, he is the head coach. So ultimately it is on him. People can argue that Double Z going down doesn't help. Well, I agree it doesn't help. But I can also say that the Double Z's on this team, we might beat Missouri, but I don't think it's going to change my projection of what we do in the big tournament. I don't know about what you think.
No, I don't think so either. I think Duke is just extremely hot right now. Won the ACC tournament. Like, they're on a streak. And it's like over the past month, they're more consistent than us. So, like, what would give me confidence that we're going to beat them? And it really sucks, too, because Purdue is the weakest one in the tournament, and they're in our section. It was like, if we were able to get through Duke, we could legit have a good shot at like getting further. But I really don't have that confidence. Like, I don't think that we can make it to the Sweet 16 and make it through Duke. I mean, if we have another like great shooting night again versus Louisiana, then sure, like I'll feel good about it. But I mean, this team down at the wire, this team when you really need them, who's going to show out, who's going to show up. And yeah, I agree with you. Like, it's up to Barnes to either find the guys or build them, make them into who they need to be to take over these games.
And just kind of jumping into next year, Barnes isn't going anywhere. He's going to be here for a long time. So it's unfortunate that it is what it is. But, with the transfer portal, and I have no idea, no clue if Santi stays another year or if he goes overseas and just starts making really good money. I don't know if Triple J stays another year, some of these guys. But, like, if one of those guys stays, you got some young cats, and then you get a transfer portal guy. Like, they're still going to be,
I'm excited for Meshack and Phillips.
Yeah, they're still going to be in the mix. Julian Phillips might turn pro. I mean, you know how crazy that stuff is. I mean, we don't necessarily think he's what he could have been as a 5-star, but like Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer were this kind of the same type deals, and they both went first round. So NBA is just a different game, different animal. But
yeah, but man, like, play another year, get some more games under your belt. Like, we don't even have to win the games, but if you perform well, like, your draft stock could definitely go up. Because and his injury hurt him, like, just not being out there. Like, I don't know if his name is talked about a lot by media and by everyone else. Like, you kind of got to get your name out there too. People are like, oh yeah, that guy down there at Tennessee. Yeah, that guy down at Tennessee.
Well, I mean, I think that's what we sound like and what the common fan sounds like. But these guys that are in on like the NBA, prospects and all that, so they know all that. Just honestly, put yourself back 2 or 3 years ago when Jaden Springer and Keon Johnson, and we're like, these dudes are averaging literally 10 and 11 points, and that's exactly what they average a game, because I just looked at their stats last night when I'm in my sick days, and I'm doing – because I was curious to what we did 2 years ago in the thing, and I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that team. But, like, the way – I agree. Like, us as common fans, we're like, huh? Going to the NBA already? What? But these NBA guys get drafted so much on potential. I mean, they get drafted 18, 19 years old to see what they can become by 22, 23. So who knows? But – I mean, just looking at our side, like you said, you got Purdue. Now, I do think it's funny that Memphis is on our side of the bracket, because just saying, if it happened, can you imagine a Memphis-Tennessee Sweet 16 matchup? How intense it would be. I mean, that would be just somehow if they won, they beat Florida Atlantic and then they upset Purdue and we upset Duke. I mean, that would be a nerve-wracking game because I'd be pissed if we lost to them.
Oh, I would be furious. Hey, you know what? That'll probably happen because we're Tennessee fans. Like,
no, it won't.
It'll happen where the worst possible loss we could have will happen. Like after being a blue blood in Duke, go play Memphis and get our ass beat. Like that would happen to us.
And Memphis is playing good ball right now, and I don't know how we would match up with them. I've watched them a couple of times. They look like they're playing well, but then you got Kentucky below us. We obviously know that we don't match up well against Kentucky.
No.
Michigan State's down there if you got to it, which none of these are really going to happen, but I don't want to play Tom Izzo in March. Marquette is a good bunch. So it's just like, I do agree that I don't know, there's just some funny matchups as fans, and I'm like, I don't want to see these. But yeah, this year I'm just excited about the tournament as a whole compared to years past. I was excited about the tournament and excited to see what Tennessee did, but I just think it's really hard for any of us to get excited knowing that we have regular season Rick, and that's really what he is. I'm not going to call him anymore to say he's not a good coach. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach. He wins big games. He runs good programs, but like, he is who he is, and that will never change unless he makes a deep run. And even then, one deep run is not going to be enough to change who he was over his entire career. And so it's like, it's people.
And this year, it's like you say regular season Rick. It's like he's not even been that great in the regular season. Like, we've lost, yes, in the beginning, but it has fallen and fallen and fallen. Like, we are going the wrong direction. Like, if you want ever to win your big games, it's at the end. We are going the opposite. We won big games in the beginning. We beat the Texas. We beat the who was it, Arizona earlier. Like, it's just like lost to Arizona. We beat another big one. I can't even remember who it was.
Gonzaga. We whipped it. We beat Gonzaga, but it was an exhibition game. But no, like, I would disagree with you. I think he did have a good regular season. I mean, you get a win against Kansas. You win the preseason tournament. You beat Alabama at home. You beat Gonzaga. Like I said, it was an exhibition game, but they
but then you still end up as the 5 seed.
No, they're the 4 seed.
Well, the 5 seed in the SEC tournament.
Well, right. But here's my defense: is he did have Triple J out for an extended period of time. He didn't have Julian Phillips, and then there was like 2 week span there that we would show up watching a game on a Tuesday night, and the only hope that you had was Santi going off. You know what I mean? So it's like he had some injuries that he had to deal with, and then he loses Sakai. So it's like I feel like he still had a pretty good rate. He had there were some very nice moments this year as a Tennessee fans for regular.
True. I'm really hoping baseball can hold their own versus Bama, and we can just be like, it's been a while since y'all boys beat us.
Yeah, I know. It does stink that Bama's now good at basketball because they were trash at basketball and all they ever had was football. Now Nate Oates is a good coach. I still hate all that stuff that's going on down there. I mean, you have a guy who's murdered someone on the well, obviously he's not on the team anymore. He was on the team and all that stuff that's happened with Brandon Miller. But anyways, to finish up, Barnes, people want to argue like there's some people that like Barnes, there's some people that dislike him. I've gotten over my time of being mad at him, and I've just come to the fact that he's going to be here. So I'm just kind of like, he is what he is for the next little bit.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like the people that argue, well, like, who else do you want? Like, and someone's like, well, just remember what happened when we got rid of Philip Fulmer and how bad we were with Philip Fulmer. It's like, yeah, I get that. But that was because some really, really bad hires. Do you want to be these people? Do you want to be the people that are like, well, we're not going to move off this guy because – and we look at it negative because the only thing that if we get rid of him, it's going to be down here. It's going to be all these bad hires. We're going to hire another Dooley. We're going to hire another Kiffin. We're going to hire. Well, like, I don't live life that way. If we get rid of Barnes, I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm optimistic that we're going to hire the next Bruce Pearl, or we're going to hire the next whoever. So it's like,
also Philip Fulmer won a national championship, so it's a little bit different comparison. And two, we don't have the idiot of idiots in ADs right now. We have Danny White, who has made very good decisions. And it's like, if he were to find a new guy, like, I trust that he would make a good decision.
Well, you know who hired Nate Oates at Buffalo?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So you actually made that comment on the very first pod that we did the first pod that you did about Danny White being hired. So Danny has a very good track record of making hires even before he's at Tennessee. So yeah, I don't like that argument of, if we let him go, who do we get? It's like, well, I mean, if that's the way we're going to live life, then we would still have Philip Fulmer and he'd be sucking it up. He was time for him to go. So, and it was funny too. I mean, I know some other basketball fans or some other Tennessee fans would be thinking about this, but I was playing Xbox with some of the buddies and we were talking about all the guys that have left here who are like playing other places. And, Drew Pember from Bearden, who left here, which I'm happy he left. It was good for him, but he becomes the player of the year in that conference. And they play UNC Asheville plays UCLA first round. So I will definitely be checking in to see how he does.
And UCLA's like best player got hurt, and like it's not great. Like, it's not great that their best guy got hurt. Like, they could lose games.
Well, I'm not saying no. I like UCLA to make a little run. I love watching them. I love their team. But the reason I'm excited to see Drew Pember play UCLA is because I want to see how he does against the best talent. Meaning, like, hey, if he plays really well against UCLA, that means that if he had stayed here with Tennessee, that he could have played or produced pretty well. And it was my knowledge that he didn't necessarily leave on his own. That Barnes was like, hey, like, you need to leave. Like, you're probably not going to get some PT here. But I mean, you have him that left, and then you got what's the guy's name for NC State, who's a big old boy. He was only here for 1 year. Give me 1 second, because he's averaging, which I had forgotten that he was on the UT team, but he was only here for 2018-19, and I think Barnes kicked him off for smoking the devil's lettuce. But it was just funny because we were just going through all these guys, because you got who was the guy that came from Auburn last year, I think, and he left, Justin Powell. So, like, Justin Powell went off and was averaging like 13 a game this year.
Yeah.
And then, hold on, I'm about to find his name. Oh, DJ Burns. You know how nice it'd be to have DJ Burns, 6'9", 275 this year, down low, just bodying people.
Hell, he might be able to help us with that dude from Kentucky.
Oh, Oscar Tshiebwe?
Yeah.
Or he could have helped us against Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Or Kobe.
I mean, you're 275. You're pretty thick.
I'm trying to see. It's giving me game-by-game stats. I just looked at his season stats the other day. Oh, well.
All right, quit sharing what all the Vol fans think they could have had.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's what it came to the other night, which was funny, just thinking about all the players that left and how they would fit into this team. But anyways.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck, Vols, man. We wish the best for you. It's going to be a tough run, but who knows? I might put him as beating Duke in one of my brackets. Who knows?
How many brackets you gonna do?
Well, I usually do one for work, and then my mother-in-law also likes me to do one for her work because she doesn't follow basketball at all.
Yeah.
So I'll usually have two, and then I might do one just by myself, like on a little ESPN, a little ding,
Do y'all do one for money with your work?
Yeah.
Or like,
yeah. They always they did one last year for money. We did fantasy this past year for money, which I was bad. I was so bad. And then we always do something with the tournaments, yeah.
Well, I think this year I'm only gonna be doing the one with my family, but I need to fill it out. It's still fun to do and stuff. Somehow my mom, so it's like the Knoxville and Memphis crew. So there's like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 of us, and my mom won it last year. It's how it goes.
I love that. I swear I might just have Brienne, like, who would you like? like their colors are blue and theirs are red. Who would you like to just have her pick?
Exactly. All right, big boy.
All right,
Enjoy
man.
talking
Great
with you.
pod.
Talk to you later.
See ya. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Also, in those comments, let us know what you'd like to see from spring practice. We're going to go here in a couple weeks, so we want to answer all y'all's questions and figure out what's going on with this team. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download. It helps us so much. If you want to follow us on social media, at Believe in Tennessee for our main account on Twitter, at rbacon26 for Reed, at Kyler Curbison for myself on all social medias. We have merch right now, How We Doing Bud t-shirts in orange and in white. So go ahead and check those out. The link is below. And just really appreciate you guys. You're the best. Thank you so much for all your support. And as always, go Vols.